Good afternoon, I'm Vashon Brown with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1 followed by the words Spot Media. The Consumer Affairs Commission, CAC, has confirmed that there were significant to moderate increases in the price of some vegetable and ground provisions following the heavy rains in mid-May. The CAC says the increases occurred between May 20 and 27, 1 week after the rains. Acting Director of Research Raquel Brown outlined the findings.
We did find, by looking at what we call the modal average, which is the price that is found most frequently in the market, that for some products there was substantial increases. And when we say substantial, we're talking about in excess of 70%. For most cases, the increases were what we would call moderate, between 25% and about 59%. So our substantial items following the rains, which is May 20th to 27th, we found for example, iceberg lettuce, the increase was 90%, an increase by $139 and some cents. For plummy tomatoes, it was 70%, and for scallion, that went up by 61%.
She says the price of scallion was also impacted by the beet armyworm. The other items analyzed were tomatoes, cabbage, callaloo, as well as Irish and sweet potatoes. The market price for cabbage doubled from $88 to $176 during the week after the rains. And there is a push to reinstate a scheme to insure vendors' goods in light of the spate of market fires in recent years, which racked up millions of dollars in losses. The push is being led by the Jamaica Vendors, Higglers and Markets Association. President of the association, Dunson Whittingham, says given the significant losses suffered by vendors due to market fires, a document is being prepared for presentation to the general insurance sector to provide coverage for goods.
It is unfair because in America you have FEMA which cover everybody. It doesn't matter because what insurance is for is to take risk, whether by water, whether by fire, whether by any natural disaster. But people, insurance should be selling every single department. So I don't know what the skepticism about insuring the content inside of these markets, and this is risk. And every time you have a fire, people put them on and them jaw, not knowing where the next dollar going to come from.
The National Works Agency, NAA, has allocated $82 million for the second phase of the island-wide drain cleaning program. Speaking yesterday on RGR's Beyond the Headlines, the agency's Communication and Customer Services Manager, Stephen Shaw, says it will get underway in 2 weeks.
Some parishes have actually completed their work. Others, they're about 75–80% complete. Of course, we'd have lost some time because we had to be spending time responding to the situation that existed between May 13 and 19.
A man who was last week apprehended by the police is expected to be charged today with murder. The police say 36-year-old Audley Duval, otherwise called Dreamer, of the Boscobel housing scheme in St. Mary, was listed as wanted. He was nabbed during an operation on Palmoral Avenue in Mona St. Andrew on Thursday. He was wanted by the St. Catherine North Police in relation to several murders. There is divided opinion this afternoon about whether the media should highlight the country's crime problem. Some hotel industry officials remain adamant that the issue should not be given high visibility. President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHT Omar Robinson, insists that the risk of losing tourists is too high. Speaking yesterday on RGR's Beyond the Headlines, he argued that the prominence given to crime could have a negative impact on tourism.
It's tourism dependent. And we must realize that, when these things go out, it does impact the image of the destination, whether it is for just other investments in other areas or for tourism. So it's not only tourism. However, it must be done in a responsible way where we put it there. I want the media to report it. Report that we've had 630 murders.
And Mr. Robinson explained that all sectors have a role to play in seeking to cut down crime, and the media should play its part.
What we need to do as the people of Jamaica is to hold our elected officials accountable. This is what we've elected them for, regardless of whichever side of the fence you're on. And we need to hold them accountable to putting in the measures that, both sides have measures. They need to come together. We also, as the public, need to help the authorities to solve crime. However, it cannot be where we just arbitrarily put these sensationalist headlines all over the paper.
Meanwhile, at least one hotelier says the hotel industry is thriving, though Jamaica is currently grappling with an increase in crime. At the 56th Annual General Meeting and Awards Luncheon of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association JHT on Saturday, Managing Director of Sunset at the Palms, Ian Carr, says he owes his success to the dedicated team members who strive to maintain excellence.
Have been with us through bad times and good times, but it has certainly been an experience where, because of the dedication and the hard work that they put in on a daily basis, these team members have made my life very enjoyable and the work very easy, I must tell you. It has not been a chore at all.
Mr. Carr also extended gratitude to his business associate, Carl Hendrickson, who he said was instrumental to the success of Sunset at the Palms.
He and I went to Montego Bay in 1997 to purchase a hotel, which we did not achieve when we came to buy it, but subsequently to that, we managed to acquire the old Seawain Hotel, which we totally, literally demolished and rebuilt. And from that was the start of the Sunset Resorts Group, which grew. And today we actually ended up with a brand name very recognized in the marketplace.
At the awards ceremony, Mr. Carr was named Hotelier of the Year for 2017. Entrepreneur of Pier 1 on the waterfront and Reggae Sumfest fame, Robert Russell, received the 2017 Abe Issa Award, and Ralph Smith, founder of Tropical Tours, copped the coveted Lifetime Achievement Award. Education Minister Senator Royal Reid is urging young people to learn more skills that can be used to give back to their communities. He was speaking at the Monroe College graduation ceremony held on Sunday. Mr. Reid stated that many young people who did not complete secondary education become recruits for criminals. It's why, he said, giving back to communities will help to provide opportunities for others.
For your boarding, they'll give you operating funds for day school, but I believe we need to do something special for the boarding because I know your costs have gone up. Your buildings need refurbishing, and you need some help. I fully endorse the $160 million program for the 160-year anniversary.
He stated that the ministry will contribute $60 million towards the program geared to the school's 160th anniversary. Work is progressing on the creation of a global immigration card for Jamaicans living overseas. A feasibility study to show how the card will be implemented is being prepared for discussion at the upcoming 7th Biennial Jamaica 55 Diaspora Conference. The Foreign Affairs Ministry is working with the Ministry of National Security and a Diaspora Task Force within the Economic Growth Council to develop the card. The card is one of the 18 Economic Growth Council targets announced by the government and is intended to raise the level of consciousness of Jamaicans. We go now to news from the region. Tropical storm Brett unleashed heavy flooding, knocked out power and ripped off several roofs in some areas of Trinidad and Tobago as it swirled west across the southern Caribbean today. The storm was located about 20 miles, that's 35 kilometers east-northeast of Venezuela's Isla Margarita late this morning. It had maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour and was moving west-northwest at 21 miles per hour. All airports in Trinidad and Tobago are slated to be reopened today, although public schools and many businesses remain closed. Meanwhile, a tropical storm warning was issued for parts of Venezuela's east coast. A tropical storm watch is in effect for the Dutch Caribbean islands of Aruba, Bonaire and Curacao, the ABC Islands. Brett is forecast to weaken and become a tropical depression by tomorrow. In the meantime, a disturbance in the central Gulf of Mexico has been designated potential tropical cyclone 3 by the National Hurricane Center and could be named subtropical or tropical storm Cindy later today. Now, the system will be a flooding concern for parts of the southern United States. Gusty winds, rip currents and isolated tornadoes are also expected. A tropical storm warning has been issued from High Island, Texas to the mouth of the Pearl River. Tropical storm conditions are expected within 36 hours. A tropical storm watch is in effect for other sections of Texas, which means tropical storm conditions are possible within 48 hours. We go now to news further afield. A 22-year-old American student died yesterday, just a week after returning to the U.S. from North Korea. What was supposed to be a trip of leisure turned into a 17-month detention stint where his family believes he was tortured into a vegetative state. We go to the CNN for more.
By the time Otto Warmbier was in a U.S. hospital, doctors said his condition was dire.
No signs of understanding language, responding to verbal commands, or awareness of his surroundings. He has not spoken. He has not engaged in any purposeful movements or behaviors.
Tonight, Warmbier's parents say their son has, quote, completed his journey home, that Otto Warmbier died today at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. The family says when he arrived in Cincinnati last week in a vegetative state, Warmbier's face looked anguished, but within a day, they say, his face changed. He was at peace, they say. Warmbier's doctors told reporters they'd discovered he had lost much of his brain tissue due to cardiopulmonary arrest, and that 2 brain scans sent by the North Koreans suggested he'd been in a vegetative state for at least 14 months.
The earliest images are dated April 2016. Based upon our analysis of those images, the brain injury likely occurred in the preceding weeks.
Experts say while they're surprised North Korea would allow an American being held to reach such critical condition, they say mistreatment in North Korean jails is not uncommon. There are key questions still unanswered tonight after Warmbier's death. Why did Kim's regime keep Warmbier's condition a secret for so long?
And we go now to sports. Young boxing sensation Kestner Davis could sign with one of 2 North American boxing promoting companies as he seeks to take his career to the international stage.
After an impressive 4-year amateur career, the 22-year-old Kestner Davis, formerly of Carl Grant's Stony Hill Bruising Gym, has been spotted by 2 North American boxing promoting companies. 2 weeks ago, the Canadian Tyler Blaze Boxing Promotion Limited invested in a matchup between Davis and Anthony Osborne in an effort to sign Davis as part of the stable. However, Davis failed to encourage the Canadian Boxing Company to put pen to paper. Last Wednesday, iFight Promotions, owned by 2 Jamaicans and 4 North Carolina businessmen, presented boxing equipment to Davis.
I feel like if they have the right equipment, the sky's the limit. So my goal as iFight Promotion is make sure that we give the Jamaican fighters all the tools they need to become world champion. That means gear, we're talking about proper training, nutrition, all those things that we're willing to do as iFight Promotion to help Jamaica, but more importantly, help the boxers out.
Well, I feel proud, as I just said. It's glad to see guys like these taking interest in my career. So it's up to me to prove to them that I'm the best in the country.
But despite the battle between iFight Promotions and the Tyler Blaze Promotions to sign Davis, according to CEO of iFight, Chris Joy, with the Jamaican only having 2 professional fights, there's no rush.
We've been watching him for a minute. We feel like he has all the tools to become a world champion, and it'll be an honor if iFight Promotion can be a part of his career. So we have not gotten to the stage of signing something with him.
Castro Brown, who now trains Davis, believes signing the 22-year-old will greatly help to develop the Jamaican as he needs to get good sparring outside the country.
To appreciate the gift that they've given this youth, because he'll be a champion in the future. I believe, you know I train all the best fighters in here in Jamaica. I believe this youth will go all the way in terms of becoming a world champion. He's a bit lazy. If he just takes his training seriously, he's unbeatable.
iFight Promotions will also be staging an international fight in Jamaica before the year ends.
We're actually looking at bringing Chop Chop back, which he will be back. We have guys out the floor at Mayweather camp that will be coming here to fight as well. So we're looking at maybe a possible date of August, possible September. We're going to sit back with the boxing board and see how they feel about some dates, and also get with the fighters that we have set up. But the good thing is we're looking to bring top-notch, world-class boxing to Jamaica.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of our news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon.